This channel is all about longer classes and challenging poses to strengthen your practice. Today's class is a fun flow leading up to the 7 headstands of Ashtanga. Headstand or Shirsasana is known as the king of all the asanas because of the many benefits that come from practicing it. Some of these benefits include improved digestion, strength, and even increasing your confidence. Hi, welcome to Yoga Dose. My name's Cece. Today we have a shoulder opening flow that leads you to the 7 headstands of Ashtanga. We're going to begin in child's pose today. You can take your knees slightly apart, lower your chest towards the ground, arms extended in front of you and your forehead gently resting on the mat. Connecting to your breath here in child's pose. Now taking your right hand to the right side of your mat, taking your left hand on top, take a side stretch all the way through the left side of your body, warming up your shoulders, stretching. Bring your hands back to center and take them over to the left side with your right hand on top of your left hand to deepen the stretch through your right side body. You can even take your right hip out to the side of your mat a little more to deepen that stretch. Come back to center, taking your hands behind you, and interlace your fingers behind you, lifting them up as much as feels good, taking a gentle shoulder stretch here. Now for the next shoulder stretch, grab a block if you have one, and place your elbows on your block, pressing your palms together behind your head, releasing your forehead to the ground. You're just going to stretch through the shoulder blades, through the triceps. If you don't have a block, you can just take your hands behind your head, pressing your palms together against the ground, and you'll still get a good stretch here. Be gentle with your shoulders here. Let your chest come closer to the ground. Breathing deep, holding the stretch. Release this stretch. Take your block off your mat and come into thread the needle pose. So take your right arm underneath you. You can take your left arm behind you and hook it onto your right thigh. And if you want to, you can extend that left leg straight. If you want to test your balance, you can even lift it off the ground a bit. Extending through that left leg. Bring that leg back down. Come back to center. Now threading your left arm underneath your right. Bring your right arm behind you, hooking onto your left thigh, and extend that right leg behind you. Again, if you want a deeper stretch and test your balance, lift the right leg off the ground about an inch or a foot, whatever feels good for you. Gently opening up through the shoulders. Release that stretch. Come back to center and take puppy pose. You can grab the front of your mat for some extra leverage, keeping your knees on the ground, bringing your chest as close to the ground as possible, keeping your shoulders externally rotated, protecting them, but also getting a big stretch here through puppy pose. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and press back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So here, strongly draw your navel in and up, engage the muscles of the pelvic floor, spread through your fingers, actively pressing them down. You can bend your knees and draw your stomach towards your thighs, creating length through the spine. Open your feet about as wide as your mat. And we're going to take a twist here. So taking your right hand to the outside of your left ankle, twist open, and then switch sides, taking your left hand to the right ankle, opening up towards the right side of the mat, turning your gaze underneath your right armpit. Come back to center, back to downward facing dog. Look forward and gently step to the top of your mat, create length in your spine. Exhale, fold all the way forward. And then inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. And exhale into standing Tadasana, mountain pose. Actively press down through all four corners of your feet. Engage your quadricep muscles. Raise your arms overhead, and grabbing your right wrist with your left hand, lean over to the left side, taking that side stretch through your right side body. Come back to center. Take it to the other side with the right hand, holding the left wrist, stretching the left side. Come back to center. Now dropping your left hand, take a side stretch to the left. Bring back to center and take it on the right side, stretching the left side body. Bring your hands back overhead and exhale. Bring them behind you, interlacing your fingers, and gently fold forward. Keep a bend in your knees. Here you can bend one knee and the other, warming up your hamstring muscles. Release the interlace of your hands and fold all the way forward. Keep moving through your hamstrings, bending one leg and the other, gently warming up. Now planting your right hand on the mat, open up through the left arm to the left side of your mat with your right knee bent, left leg straight. Come back to center. Take it on the other side, planting the left hand, left knee bent, right leg straight, opening up to the right side. Bring your hands back to center. Fold all the way forward. Now inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale your arms overhead. Exhale, fold all the way forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, come halfway up. Plant the hands and step the right leg behind you, coming into a low lunge position. You can rock your hips back and forth a little bit, warming them up, and then gently lower your right knee down. Coming up with arms overhead in this low lunge, make sure your knee is over your ankle. Now cactus out your arms, stretching through your chest, and interlace your fingers behind you. Reaching behind, you can turn your gaze upward, stretching, lifting through the heart. Bring your hands back to the mat and step your left foot back into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog, and exhale into Downward Facing Dog. Step the right foot forward, back in between your hands. Create a few rocks back and forth through your hip. And then gently lower your left knee down to the mat, bringing your arms overhead. You can cactus out your arms again here. And then interlace your fingers behind you, taking the other pinky on top, switching the interlace. Stretching up, lifting through your heart. Release through your shoulder blades. Bring your hands down to the mat. Step your left foot forward. Come up halfway, create length. Exhale, fold all the way forward. And inhale, rise all the way overhead. And exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale again, arms overhead. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands. Step your left foot behind you into a low lunge. Rock back and forth through your hips. Gently lower the left knee, coming up into a low lunge. You can place your hands on top of your right knee, making sure that knee is tracking over the ankle. Lower your right hand to the side of the mat and take that side stretch through your left arm, stretching deep into the psoas muscle on the left side. Bring your hands back to center, planting your hands. Step your right foot back, lower down into Chaturanga. Inhale into Upward Facing Dog, and exhale into Downward Facing Dog. Stepping your left foot forward in between your hands, take a few rocks back and forth, and then gently lowering onto the right knee into that low lunge. Placing your hands on top of your knee. This time you can lower your left hand down to the side of your mat, taking the right arm up and overhead, stretching through the right side body into that hip flexor and psoas muscle. Bring your hands back to your mat, planting the hands. Step the right foot forward, come up halfway. Exhale, fold all the way forward. And inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale again, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step the right foot back. Lower onto that right knee, arms overhead, low lunge. Bring the hands back, step the left foot back, move through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Step the right foot forward in between your hands, lower onto the left knee, arms overhead, low lunge. Bring the hands back to the mat. Step the left foot forward to meet the right. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, step the left foot back, lower onto that knee. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, plant the hands, step the right foot back to meet the left, lower through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Stepping that left foot back in between your hands, lower onto the right knee, low lunge, arms overhead. Bring your hands back to the mat. Step the right foot up to meet the left, come up halfway. Exhale, fold all the way forward. And inhale, rise all the way to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, release, Samastitihi. Inhale, raise your arms overhead and exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, come halfway, lengthen your spine, plant the hands, and jump or step back into Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, press back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal through your heels here. We'll take a couple more Surya Namaskar A's. Look forward to the top of your mat, hop or step up. Come up halfway, exhale, fold. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, jump back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pressing down evenly through all the fingers, drawing the navel in and up. Tailbone reaching high, gaze forward, hop or step to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, rise all the way to standing. And exhale, Samastitihi. Again, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Connect to your steady breath. Lift your right leg up. Bending at your knee, open up through your right hip here. You can take a couple hip circles here if you want, gently opening up those hip muscles. Extend the leg back up and then gaze forward. Step that right leg in between your hands, coming up into Anjaneyasana, crescent pose. So you want your arms overhead, you can take your gaze overhead. Your right knee is strongly bent right over the right ankle. You're on the ball of your back left foot, and your left leg is strongly engaged, actively reaching through that back heel. Cactus out your arms behind you, opening up them wide, reaching through your chest. Now coming into eagle arms, bring your right arm underneath your left arm and begin to stretch your shoulders, lifting the elbows up, turning your gaze up. Look forward, put more weight into your right foot and step forward into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Actively reach out through that extended left leg, pressing through the heel. Try to straighten the right leg. Now gently release, taking that left leg back, moving into Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. You can bring your knuckles behind you, grab opposite elbows, or take your hands into reverse namaskar prayer, and then gently create length and fold forward over your right leg. Your feet should be about 3 feet apart, and you're lined up front heel to back heel. back feet pointed up towards the left corner of your mat. Just gently folding over that right front leg. You can keep a soft bend in it if your hamstrings are tight. Release your arms, bring them down around your right foot, or take them even further behind you if you want a deeper stretch. Make sure you're engaging your abdominal muscles here. Now plant your hands lower onto your forearms and come into dolphin pose. You can take a couple hops here if you want. Otherwise, just lower down now into dolphin plank. So you're on your forearms. Make sure they're about shoulder width apart. You're engaging your core muscles, engaging your quads, strongly holding this dolphin plank, engaging your glutes and pressing out through your heels and lifting through the crown of your head. Strongly hold here. Building that core strength for our headstands. Core strength, super important whenever you're doing any inversion. Now gently release onto your knees and press back into a child's pose, balasana. You can keep your hands in front of you or take them behind you onto your feet. Gently resting here, returning to your steady breath. A couple more breaths here. Now bring your hands forward, press back into downward facing dog. Now lifting your left leg up to the sky, you can bend your knee, open up through that left hip. Do a couple hip circles with your knee bent. Opening up. Now straighten that leg back out and bring it through in between your hands, lightly stepping it in between your hands, staying on the ball of the right foot. Coming up into Anjaneyasana, crescent pose on the left side. Arms strongly reaching overhead. Your gaze can be up to your thumbs, your palms pressing together. Bring your right hip forward, your left hip back, squaring off your hips to the front of your mat. Make sure your front knee is lined up directly over your left ankle, actively reaching through that back heel. Open up your arms, cactus through, lifting up through your heart. Now interlace your hands behind your back if you want to take an extra stretch. And now come into eagle arms with the left arm underneath this time. Lifting your elbows a little higher, you'll feel a deeper stretch in your shoulders. Turn your gaze forward, put more weight in the left foot, and lift off into Warrior 3 on the left side. Actively reach through that lifted right leg, pressing the heel out as if there's a wall behind it, reaching through the crown of your head, engaging every muscle in your leg. Gently lower the right leg down, coming into Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. Again, you can press your knuckles together. You can hold opposite elbows or take reverse prayer with your hands and gently fold forward over that left leg, feeling that deep hamstring stretch. Bring your right hip a little bit forward, your left hip a little bit back, just making sure that your hips are square and you have length in your spine. From here you can release your hands, bring them onto the mat, and you can even stretch them further back if you want a deeper stretch here. Bringing them back to the top of the mat. In one motion, lower down onto your forearms, lift your left leg up. You can take a couple hops here if you want, or lower straight into dolphin plank again. Create a long, strong line through your body from your heels all the way out through the crown of your head. Press down through your forearms. Engage your abdominals, engage your quadriceps. Imagine you are holding a block in between your thighs. Squeeze as tight as you would if you had one there. Keep holding, keep breathing. Really engaging the core. A few more breaths here. Keep holding strong. Now gently lower into a child's pose. Connect to your steady breath. Gaze forward, planting your hands. Come forward into a plank position and shift forward about an inch, lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, back into downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths here in this downward facing dog. You can pedal through your heels, see how your hamstrings are feeling. Now gaze forward and lower onto your forearms, coming into dolphin pose. Begin to walk your feet closer to your hands. A good indicator here of knowing if you're ready to go into headstand is if you have length in your spine when you're in dolphin and you can hold dolphin. So move into a dolphin plank now, warming up the core for our headstands. Now come back into dolphin, lift your hips back up and lower them back into dolphin plank. Feel your shoulders engaged, feel the core engaged. Come back into dolphin, raising the hips, and planting your palms, lift back into downward facing dog. So now we're going to get ready to move into the 7 headstands of Ashtanga, starting with Mukta Hasta Shirsasana A, so tripod headstand. So you're going to plant the crown of your head. You want to line up your wrists underneath your elbows, your arms shoulder distance apart, and begin to lift the legs up to the sky. If these headstands are new to you, I recommend using a wall, maybe watch before you practice them. Just be careful with your neck, that's the most important thing. Your cervical spine is very important. So you can pike your legs down here for the traditional exit and shoot back into chaturanga, otherwise just lower down. Move through the vinyasa or come straight to down dog. We'll take Mukta Hasta Shirsasana B, where you plant the crown of your head and you bring your hands back behind you with your palms facing upward, and then gently lift your legs up. Lifting your legs, bringing your tailbone towards your heels, engaging your core. Now the traditional exit would be to bring your hands back to tripod position, shoot back into chaturanga, and move through a vinyasa. Otherwise, just gently lower your legs down. Next headstand, Mukta Hasta Shirsasana C, or the iron cross. You plant your hands and take your arms out, extended from your shoulders, with your palms down, it's almost in like a T position. And then slowly lift your legs up from here. This one makes my biceps so sore sometimes. It's so funny. You're just working different muscles than you normally do. So traditionally, you can move your hands back to tripod position, pike down, shoot through chaturanga, move through your vinyasa, or just meet in a downward facing dog. Come forward onto your knees for Baddha Hasta Shirsasana. Make sure your arms are shoulder distance apart. Interlace your fingers behind your head, planting the crown of the head, and gently lift up into headstand. Again, make sure your core is strongly engaged, just like in dolphin plank. And again, from here, if you want to loosen the interlace of your fingers, the traditional exit would be plant your hands, shoot, pike the legs, shoot back, move through upward facing dog, and back to downward facing dog. This big boat made some really big waves, just barely, so the next one's a little rocky. But this one, you're going to bring your arms, you're going to grab your opposite elbows in front of your face, and then lift your legs up gently from here. Try not to fall off the dock. I definitely recommend doing these headstands in a stable place, especially if it's your first time. So plant your hands, shoot through chaturanga and move back to downward facing dog. Coming onto your knees when you're ready. The next headstand, we're going to take our arms shoulder distance apart, and you're planting your forearms down like you would in forearm balance. So Pincha Mayurasana arms, except you have the crown of your head in between your arms. So actively press down through the palms, through the forearms, and lift your legs up. Draw the sitting bones towards the heels. Squeeze the legs together. If you want, you can quickly bring the hands back into tripod, pike your legs, move through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Now coming back onto your knees, the next headstand, you're going to plant your elbows on the ground, taking your palms up to your shoulder blades, planting the crown of the head down. Lift up through your legs and gently lift all the way up. You may need to have a wall or a spot behind you when you work on these for the first time, but just keep trying and just be very careful with your neck, as always. Strongly engage your core, reach through your feet, and again, if you want to, you can bring your hands back to chaturanga, shoot back, lift through upward facing dog, and exhale into downward facing dog. That was all 7 headstands. So from here, take a child's pose, gently press your head into your mat, reach your arms behind you. Feel free to press pause, move through these again, practice them on your own time. You never have to take the transition back to chaturanga from there, but if you feel ready and you feel comfortable and balanced in those headstands, it's definitely a fun transition to try. I would work on that transition from Baddha Shirsasana A, where you have your hands interlaced, if you're working on it, and you can just take one hand back from the interlace at a time and just work on that first before you pop both hands out into that tripod position. That's what I did to learn. Now move from your child's pose into downward facing dog, and here just really release your neck. You can move your head in little circles. You can shake it yes, or nod it yes, shake it no. Just release any tension that may be in your neck. Look forward to the top of your mat and come through into a seated position. From here, you're going to lay all the way down onto your back, but you're going to bend your knees and plant your feet up by your hips, lifting up into a gentle bridge pose. Since your shoulders are really warm here, you can interlace them behind you. Strongly lifting the hips up higher, keeping the chin away from the chest, planting down through the feet. Make sure the outer edges of your feet are parallel. Gently lower your hips down. Take another bridge or bring your hands up by your ears and move into Urdhva Dhanurasana. Pressing down through your feet. Strongly engaging your legs, spiraling your thighs in towards each other. You can slowly lower all the way down or lower onto the crown of your head. Now lift up into another bridge or another upward facing bow pose. And gently lower onto the crown of your head. We're going to take one more. Lift all the way up into bridge or Urdhva Dhanurasana. Try to bring your chest forward towards the back of your mat. Now gently lower all the way down, being conscious of your neck. Bring your knees into your chest. Softly rock side to side, massaging the muscles in your lower back. You can begin to rock forward and back, gaining momentum to rock forward into a vinyasa, or shoot your legs back from chakrasana into chaturanga. Move through your vinyasa and meet in downward facing dog. Look forward, jump all the way through, lower the legs straight in front of you, planting your hands by your hips. We're going to hold in Dandasana, seated staff pose, for a second. And then reach forward, grabbing your big toes with your first two fingers and your thumb, create length, and exhale, fold forward over your legs. If you have tight hamstrings, I recommend you could use a strap or sit on a block, just to keep length in the spine. Now inhale, create length again, and exhale, take the stretch a little deeper if you'd like, or stay right where you are. If you'd want to take it deeper, you can reach your hands behind your feet, flip your grip, and grab your opposite wrist, drawing your navel strongly in and up. Now planting your hands, lift off, jump through to chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog, and exhale into downward facing dog. Look forward in between your hands, hop through, lower down, and bring your right foot in against your left thigh for Janu Shirsasana A. Reach forward, grabbing that left foot, create length and fold forward. Strongly bringing that navel in and up, actively pressing that right foot against the inner left thigh, reaching the crown of the head forward and drawing your shoulder blades away from your ears. Switching legs, take your left foot and press it strongly against the right inner thigh, wrapping the hands around the right foot. Engage the muscles of the right quadricep. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, release. And from here, lie down onto your back. Taking your right leg across on top of your left knee, flexing that right foot, move into a figure 4 stretch for your right hip. You can using your hands, draw that left knee down further to deepen the stretch, bringing your right leg closer towards your chest. Keeping that right foot flexed to neutralize the knee joint, keeping it safe. Now lower your legs down to the left side of your mat, taking your right arm extended out to the right side with your gaze over your right shoulder for a supine twist. Slow down your breath here, winding down your practice. You can gently rest your left hand on top of your right knee. Bring your knees back to center. Now taking your left leg on top of your right, taking that figure 4 stretch, flexing up the left foot with your fingers interlaced around your right knee. Gently draw them in closer to your chest, your lower back pressing onto the ground. Breathe deeply into that left hip. Now gently drop those legs over to the right side of your mat, taking the left arm out to the side. If it feels good on your neck, gaze over that left shoulder. Continue breathing in this position, winding down your practice. Breathing deep inhales, deep exhales. Bring your knees back to center and bring your knees into your chest. Take a little rock side to side. Do whatever feels good here. You can make some small circles with your spine. Giving yourself a little massage. You can even move into happy baby if you'd like, grabbing the outer edges of your feet with your hands, pulling the knees towards your armpits. Take any other stretches that feel good to you at this moment before lowering down into your final resting pose, Shavasana. Letting your feet rest about hip distance apart, falling out towards the sides of your mat. Your arms rested at your sides, palms facing up. Release any tension in your jaw and your face and your shoulder blades. And just let your body gently sink into the mat. Release your Ujjayi breathing. Release any thought and just rest. Begin to bring your breath back to your body. Create small movements. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Do some circles with your ankles, with your wrists. You can draw your arms overhead. Take a big stretch through your body, bending your knees. You can roll off to one side of your mat. Slowly, slowly, and gently making your way up to a seated position. Doing whatever feels good for your body, waking up from Shavasana. Bringing your breath back. And in your seated position, take your arms out and overhead. Turn your gaze up towards your palms and slowly lower them down to your heart. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.
Make sure you try my Yoga for Core Strength and Abs class, because a strong core is really going to help you not only improve your inversion practice, but improve your daily life as well. I look forward to seeing you on the mat again soon.